Hey there, this is Jelaila and it's time for another update. Today's topic is when you stay focused on your mission's goal, the money will continue to flow. This has been a lesson for me to learn this week, and I guess I should give you some background because I think, I don't know if you've ever been in this position, but it is sure uncomfortable and it's so humiliating and it really knocks you down a few steps. Anyway, I figure I need to tell you what the truth about this. A little background. As many of you know, back in September I closed on my first house, and it was the hugest investment I've ever made, and I really stretched out of my comfort zone to take on that much debt. And but I thought it was the right time. It was a reward for the mission I just completed. I was told that would be one of my rewards, and so the money did come for me to get it. But after that, I think I got into a lot of fear around it, and I began to focus more on the money and how I'm going to pay for all this, because I was like I had to get comfortable with, with carrying this kind of a load, this kind of a financial load. And my focus shifted from the mission and my goal of the mission to how to take care of the day-to-day stuff, the finances and things like that. So basically my priorities were skewed, and it began to show up in the events that followed in the next 5 months. I had set up a series of book signings in LA, and normally I pack the rooms when I do book signings, especially at the Bodhi Tree. And at the Bodhi Tree this time I had 6 people. So that was a huge shock for me, I can only tell you. Then my conference I had set up, the conference, the Edge Life Expo in Minneapolis, it was a disaster. The first time I'd ever lost money at a conference. And then, so I was really shaken by those two things. I was really scared, and I thought, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to pay for all this, and I'm going to fail horribly. And it's going to be the biggest fall of my life. But then the December Emotional Clearing Workshop happened, and it was full, and it was the best ever. And I thought, well, maybe that's not the case. Maybe things are okay. But then I noticed that the first of the 3 Countdown to 2012 workshops that I had set up for January and February and March was not filling. But I thought, well, it's the holidays, it'll fill. Well, at the holidays, it wasn't full. So I ended up having to reschedule that one. And then a few weeks later, I had to reschedule the one for February because it wasn't filling. And I'm like, something's going on here, but I don't know what it is. And then, backtracking a little bit, the conference that was scheduled in February, the Conscious Life Expo, which I have packed the rooms before when I was there, they contacted me and offered me 2 paid workshops and a chance to be on the 2012 panel with Richard Hoagland, George Norrie of Coast to Coast, David Wilcox, and others. And I felt that if I had done those, I felt like this was going to be my year, to really go to the next level and become at the level where they pay you to come out. They pay you $5,000 to come out and speak at their workshop and at their conference, instead of having to put out $3,000 just to get into a workshop, get into a conference. And I ended up, because the January 2012 workshop wasn't filling, and all the money I made from the Emotional Clearing workshop paid previous month's bills, I didn't have the $3,000 to invest. And I was not willing to go into debt even further on credit cards because, people, money, opportunity. If the money isn't there, and it doesn't mean using credit cards to get it, somebody has to, the money has to come in for you to be able to pay for something. When the people and the money, opportunity all come together simultaneously and flow into your life, then it is time for you to do something. So that told me it wasn't time for me to do that conference, even though it made no sense to pull out on one level, because it would have given me the chance to get to the next step. I ended up pulling out because the money wasn't there. So then I found out last week that it was the best conference ever. I missed meeting George Norrie. I missed possibly getting on Coast to Coast, which would have catapulted this business, and then I could have then turned around and helped a lot of other businesses, a lot of other teachers, which was my plan. I missed those opportunities. So I felt like a total failure. And so when I talked to Devin about it, he's the head of the 90 Nib Ruins, one I've channeled for years. A few days ago, he said, well, you would have taken the wrong turn. Well, I first interpreted that as, well, I'm going to have attracted, if I got on Coast to Coast, I would have attracted the wrong people who might try to, wreak havoc with this work. That wasn't the case, and the reason I found that out was because if you look here, you'll see I have like 2 fever blisters. Well, I ended up getting a 3rd one last night, so I said, okay, obviously that wasn't the answer. And I went to Devin again, and I said, well, okay, is there more to this than I see? He goes, well, yeah. But he didn't answer. He let me think about it. It's like, oh, I get it. It's that my focus has shifted from the goal of the mission, which was, to tell people about 2012 and spread the formula of compassion, so that, we could lift the consciousness of humanity far enough to avoid a lot of things that we would have encountered when we crossed the galactic equator in 2012. I gotten off of that onto dealing with my own personal shit and my own fears about money, and that is what had caused all these blocks. And then once I got that, he said, yeah, we could not risk you putting that energy of being all about the money out on the airwaves, because it would have people would have picked it up subconsciously, and I got it at that point. He didn't say this, but I figured it out. I would have severely damaged the credibility of the Nibiruans and their work, and maybe, possibly destroyed everything that they have worked so hard to, their credibility for the last 15 years. So I got it. I had gotten off track, and I possibly could have forfeited their whole mission. So it was a lesson learned. And my focus is back on the mission now, so we'll see how things change. But I wanted to share this with you, and I thought that you deserve to know, because I've always been told, if I just be honest, that I'll be protected and good things will happen. So, and I know you would have figured it out anyway. So anyway, I'll talk to you next week. Bye.